Who should actually pick up the Canon EOS 80D? Who can safely walk away? And does the price make sense for someone who just wants solid, everyday photos without turning their wallet inside out? Those are the three questions I keep hearing from people on forums and in the comments, and it's exactly why I'm breaking this down before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the hesitation most buyers have isn't about the brand Canon's name carries weight, but about whether this DSLR still fits into a world that's been sprinting toward mirrorless. The 80D sits in that sweet spot where you get serious control without the steep learning curve of a full-frame body, and you avoid the "my lens won't mount" nightmare that newer mirrorless systems sometimes throw at you. If you're the kind of photographer who has already outgrown a point-and-shoot, but isn't ready to commit to a multi-$1,000 mirrorless kit, the 80D is worth a serious look. Let's talk about ease of use. The camera's layout feels familiar if you've ever held a Canon DSLR before, but there's a twist. The intelligent viewfinder actually overlays the selected AF points, the current mode, and a customizable grid right in your eye. That means you don't have to hunt for that info on the rear screen while you're trying to nail a composition. In a real-world scenario, say you're shooting a family gathering in a dimly lit restaurant, the viewfinder tells you exactly which focus points are active, letting you shift from a single point on a child's face to a broader zone for a group without fumbling with the menu. Autofocus confidence is where the 80D really earns its stripes. With a 45-point or cross-type AF system and dual-pixel CMOS AF for live view and video, you get quick, reliable locking on moving subjects. I tested it on a local kids' soccer game, and the camera kept up with sprinting players, even when they cut across the field. The dual-pixel system shines when you switch to video. Focus transitions stay smooth, which is a huge plus for creators who do a mix of stills and vlog-style footage. If you're a hobbyist who enjoys occasional action shots, or a YouTuber who needs decent video focus without a separate gimbal, this is a genuine strength. Low light behavior is another practical concern. The 24.2 megapixel APS C sensor has a respectable ISO range, and thanks to the newer sensor architecture, you'll see less noise at ISO 3200 than you'd expect from a camera of this age. I took a series of street photos after sunset, handheld, at ISO 1600, and the images retained good detail with only mild grain. It's not going to replace a full-frame sensor for nighttime astrophotography, but for everyday low-light scenarios, restaurants, indoor events, evening walks, it's more than capable. Stabilization isn't built into the body, which is a point where mirrorless competitors have an edge. That means you'll rely on lens-based IS or steady hands. For most hobbyist lenses in the Canon EFS mount lineup, you'll find a good selection of IS optics, and the camera's grip and viewfinder framing help you keep the shakedown. If you're planning to shoot handheld video a lot, you might want to budget for a lens with optical stabilization or consider a small rig. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to keep on your mental checklist. Now, the lens ecosystem. This is where the 80D feels like a hidden gem. Because it uses the EF mount, you have access to over a decade of lenses, both new and used, at a wide price range. If you already own a couple of Canon lenses from an older DSLR, you can drop them in and start shooting immediately. For newcomers, the starter kit lenses, like the 18-55mm, are affordable, and there are plenty of mid-range primes, 35mm, f/1.8, 50mm, f/1.8, that give you a creative boost without breaking the bank. The ability to pick up a vintage iSeries telephoto for wildlife, or a fast macro for close-up work, means the 80D can grow with you. That flexibility is a major practical advantage over some mirrorless systems that lock you into a newer, pricier lens lineup. Menu friction can be a silent killer for people who just want to shoot. Canon has refined its menu hierarchy over the years, and the 80D continues that trend. The top-level quick control dial lets you adjust ISO, exposure compensation, and white balance without diving deep into submenus. For me, the learning curve was shallow. After a half hour of playing around, I felt comfortable switching between aperture priority and manual mode on the fly. However, the camera does have a fair number of customizable buttons, and if you never tweak them, you might end up pressing menu more than you'd like. It's not a showstopper, but for absolute beginners, a little initial guidance, many YouTube tutorials cover the layout, helps smooth that bump. Battery confidence is surprisingly solid. The 80D uses the LP6N battery, which Canon rates at roughly 950 shots per charge when shooting stills. In my